Bet you didn't know you could whip up these crazy structures, fully procedural, with just an array modifier. And yeah, you can animate them too, smooth as butter with zero hassle. By the end, that modifier's gonna be eating out of your hand. Let's do this. Alright, let's dive into the Array Modifier in Blender. It's a magic wand for creating repetitive patterns easily. I'll guide you step by step so you can nail it and create epic designs. First, let's explore what this modifier does in its features. Once we get the basics, you'll be set for advanced modeling. We'll tweak settings like fit type, relative offset, constant offset, and more to make complex designs simple. To kick things off, I'm gonna hide the other objects in my scene and drop in a simple cube. This cube's our guinea pig to see how the array modifier works its magic. Basically, this tool duplicates your object in a non-destructive way. Fancy term, I know, but it just means you can tweak the original and all the copies update like they're in sync. Super handy for optimizing your scene or making big changes without pulling your hair out. You add the array modifier from the modifier properties panel and boom, it spits out a duplicate with some default settings. Let's start with the fit type setting. It's like the brain of how duplicates get made. There are 3 flavors. 1. Fixed count. You tell it, yo, I want exactly 10 copies, and it makes 10 no matter how they're spaced. 2. Fit length. Here, you give it a distance, say 4 meters, and it figures out how many copies fit in that space based on your object size and spacing. 3rd, fit curve. This one's fun. It lines up copies along a curve, like a circle or something curvy you made. The big difference, fixed count locks in the number of copies, so gaps between them might vary. Fit length cares about the total distance and adjusts the number to fill it nicely. Let's zoom in on fixed count and play with the offset options. These control how far apart your duplicates sit. Relative offset bases spacing on your object's size. Say your cube is 2 meters wide on the x-axis and you set the x relative offset to 2. That means copies are 4 meters apart, 2 times the cube's width. Set it to 1 and they're touching edge to edge. No gaps. It scales with your object, which is great for keeping things proportional. On the flip side, constant offset doesn't care about your object's size. It uses a fixed distance, like 4 meters, every time. Big cube, small cube, doesn't matter. They're always 4 meters apart. To show you, I'll add another cube, shrink it down, and apply the array modifier. Relative offset spaces copies based on the tiny cube's size, but constant offset keeps that 4-meter gap for both. No questions asked. Now, let's get fancy with object offset. This uses something like an empty, a little helper object to control where duplicates go, how big they are, or how they rotate. Drop in an empty, assign it to object offset, and move it. Boom, all copies shift with it. Scale the empty to say 1.25 or rotate it 15 degrees, and each copy gets a little bigger or twists a bit more, creating cool dynamic effects without wrecking your original model. Then there's the merge option, which is a lifesaver for keeping things clean. It has 2 modes, distance and first and last. Turn it on and it glues together vertices of copies that are super close, like 0.01 meters apart, so you don't get ugly overlaps. The first and last option only merges the start and end copies, which is clutch for certain projects. If you're messing with UVs, you can tweak their offsets too, but honestly, I usually leave those at 0 to keep things simple. Another cool trick is caps. You can slap unique objects at the start or end of your array. Think a UV sphere at the beginning of a railing or pipeline for that polished look. Just assign it as a start cap and it lines up with your offset settings. You can do the same for an end cap. So that's the basics, but a lot of tutorials just stop here, leaving you with the kiddie pool version of the array modifier. To really level up, we gotta dive deeper and see what this bad boy can do in complex projects. Let's build a tower to show how it can save you hours on intricate designs. I'll start with a plane and add a cube to act as a brick. I scale it to 1.5 on the x-axis, 0.5 on the z-axis, apply the changes, and toss on a bevel modifier for smooth edges. To make a circular tower, I'll add a curve object, scale it up, and use the array modifier with fit curve, picking the curve as the target. This lines up my bricks along the curve's path. To make sure they fit perfectly, I'll add a curve modifier after the array modifier to lock the bricks to the curve's shape with no gaps. Next, I turn on the merge option to fuse the bricks together so it looks like one seamless structure. To make the tower tall, I add a second array modifier, this time stacking the whole circular setup along the z-axis. By tweaking the relative offset on the z-axis, I control the vertical spacing and maybe a tiny bit on the x or y for a cool spiral effect as the tower climbs. The best part? If I edit the original brick, like making it bigger, every copy updates instantly. No manual fixes needed. For extra flair, I'll add windows. I drop in a cube, stretch it along the y-axis, and use a Boolean modifier to cut window shapes. Another array modifier on the z-axis repeats the windows up the tower, perfectly aligned. Now let's push it further with a spiral staircase. I'll make a single step by scaling a cube along the y-axis, thinning it on the z-axis, and adding a bevel for smoothness. Instead of a curve, I'll use object offset with an empty. Set the array modifier to object offset, assign the empty, and move it up the z-axis with a slight rotation. Crank up the duplicate count and you get a sweet spiral pattern, each step offset and twisted based on the empty's moves. To polish it, I add railings with smaller cubes at the step edges. This setup's animatable too. Keyframe the empty's rotation or the array's count and you can make the staircase build itself in real time. Tweak the animation curves in the graph editor for buttery smooth motion and your render's gonna look pro. Before we wrap, let's dodge some common screw-ups. Make sure your object's pivot point is in the right spot. It's like the anchor for where duplicates go. Picking the wrong axis, like X instead of Z for rotation, can mess everything up. Going overboard with the merged distance can warp your geometry, making it look sloppy. And with object offset, tiny tweaks can throw the whole array out of whack, so go slow and check your work. That's a wrap, you Blender superstars. You've just conquered the array modifier and learned how to whip up epic towers and spiral staircases like a pro. Now it's your turn. Go create something insane and share it in the comments. I'm dying to see what you come up with. Smash that like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more DeepBlendArt tutorials. Catch you in the next one.